Alright, so my life in the 2000s. I just want to give you a brief outline of my life. Oatmeal, Joey Arnold, that's me. My life in the 2000s. Really quickly, from the top of my head, this video is intended to be boring. Boring. I just want to rant from the top of my head. No notes, just me trying to remember just some stuff, some memories, just a brief outline, as brief as possible. This is part 2 in a way of my entire life, because I was born in the 1900s, and so I just did a video a second ago about that, and I talked for 30 minutes and I didn't even barely scratch the surface. So I talked about when I was born in the 1900s, born in 85. Now in the 2000s, that means the whole entire century or millennia, not just the first decade, but my life in the 2000s, starting in 2000, I was 15, and I was homeschooled before that, and then I started going to high school in 2000 and graduated in 2004. I went on a mission trip with my youth group to Idaho the summer of 2000. I started going to camps, some really cool, exciting camps in 99. I forgot to mention that in the last video, but these Word of Life camps, the West Coast camp, every summer I would go there from 99 to 2003. That was a highlight. I would always look forward to that. I wanted to go to high school. I was homeschooled before that, and I started going to high school the fall of 2000. That was exciting. I was still pretty shy in some ways, even though, I made some videos starting in 96 with family and friends. I was shy in some ways still, and I started becoming less shy as I got older and older, and I took a basic metals class. That was my first class, and people called me Hey Arnold in that first class, in the welding class. And that class was not my favorite. I kind of liked building, but I didn't really enjoy welding. And then I took carpentry, and I took arts, and then I took stagecraft, and I started taking drama classes like my senior year in high school. And I would make articles for people, encouragement articles, these EA encouragement articles for people, for my youth group, and for random people I knew in high school. Sometimes there were small cards where I draw a picture of them and I say random things, and I call them stuff like, "You look like a pineapple," "You look like a cat," or I'd give them nicknames, or I would write articles about them and talk about them and rant like with random words and try to write a story about it, and they enjoyed it, and other people would come up to me and say, "Write one about me, do one about me," and I was also known as the guy who, like the white guy who could hop when I was playing basketball, and people would be like, "Wow, I didn't know, like a guy could hop that high," kind of thing, because I was able to jump pretty high and pretty good at basketball. I tried out for the basketball team and I didn't make it. They were going to make me a manager, and then I didn't want to do that. And I would ride my bicycle to school sometimes, and I was on the bus sometimes. Enjoyed that, and I got my own camcorder in 2000 and made some videos, and then I brought the camcorder over to school, recorded them, and had other people would borrow my camera and walk around filming people during high school a few times. In most like in 2002, made a few movies with my brother. The summer of 2001, we made Gangster Run, starring Red Dog. And then during Christmas, around Christmas, we made another movie called Phenomenon. And I made Cat's Life and Blair Witch and Roadkill and a bunch of a few videos in the early 2000s into 2003, and for my senior project, in order to graduate high school, I built a pocket ball table. It was kind of like carpet ball or gutter ball, but a little wider, a little bit smaller. The table dimensions was a little bit different, and I had some friends that helped me, and then I donated the table that I built to the Hillsborough Community Baptist Church. That's where I would go to, the one youth group. I went to a bunch of different youth groups over the years. That one was probably my favorite during high school. And so I gave it to them, and then they would play with it, play on it, sometimes too. And I enjoyed doing that. I enjoyed a lot of adventures that I had, like during high school. There's a lot of memories that I have on, and I made videos, and then my biology teacher would play it to the class, and then play it to all of her other classes too. And then people started knowing me. I had a couple different nicknames in high school, like Cool Kid and Joe Cool, and the ghetto Joe, and I don't know what else did I have, but people knew me, and people I didn't even know knew me. Out of the 800 or so people, like a lot of people knew me, and I didn't know them, but people knew me because of this or because of that. There was a couple different reasons why they would know me, and then as I got older, I was more popular and I was less shy. And then I during my senior year, I was in the Earth Club and the Drama Club, and then I was going to the school dances, and sometimes I was dancing, slow dancing even a little bit, but with some of the girls, but the rest of the time, or some of the time, I was like dancing by myself, kind of dancing really, really crazy, and they kind of liked that, or some of the people kind of liked that, and I became even more popular with that. And I was in the senior lip sync dance, and I was dressed up as Sebastian from The Little Mermaid. And so the song that I led for the senior lip sync in high school, in around probably December of 2003, the song I did was Under the Sea. Under the sea, darling, I think that's the one I did. And we had a Disney theme, and so we all did a couple different Disney songs, and we danced around and lip synced to it. And I think we won. I mean, usually the seniors are the ones that win that competition. That was the only time I was in the competition. I didn't do it any other year except for my last year, my senior year. And I have a lot of memories of my life in high school. It was exciting. And then, since I was born and raised in Oregon, that was my life. And then right after that, I went to New York. So just a week or two after graduating high school, I flew in an airplane for the first time, and I went to New York, and I was involved in the they had a summer camp there called the Ranch, and the Word of Life Ranch, and I was doing food prep, and it was exciting, and we did a lot of things that summer. And there was a basketball competition, and our basketball team was called the Llamas, and we won the tournament. And then I started the college that fall, the Word of Life Bible Institute, and I was there for 2 years and did a bunch of things. And then after that, went to West Virginia, went to the Appalachian Bible College, ABC. That was exciting. I was there for a year. A lot of things happened, and after I was also I was a counselor with the Word of Life while I was in New York, while I was attending that first Bible college. And we had the summer camp, and we also had the snow camp. And I was involved with like a children's ministry team, and we did a bunch of exciting things. We did, like with that team, we'd go around and do things, do activities, do events, and I was involved with like doing the puppets. And we did a bunch of things, and after that, after my first college, like I said, after that I went to my second college in West Virginia, and after that I ended up working at a Salvation Army camp in Boring, Oregon. And my younger sister was there. She encouraged me to go there, and it was exciting. And in some ways, it was more exciting than the other camps I worked at. Not to say that the other camps aren't good, and perhaps those camps might be better in some ways, but the difference, in some ways, the Salvation Army camp that I went to, Camp Karate, was smaller, but more family orientated. Like, I felt like I was in a family in some ways. Not to say that I couldn't feel that way with the other people I was working with in New York and California. We also did something in California too, because they also have another camp in California, but because Word of Life is really big and it's all around the world, just like Salvation Army. I don't know I don't know which one is bigger. I imagine Salvation Army is bigger, but the Salvation Army has a camp in Oregon, and I was a wilderness counselor the summer of 2007 and 2008, and right after the summer, I ended up going to Revolution, Hawaii. It's a mission trip sponsored by the Salvation Army, and that was exciting. And a lot of things happened there for that school year, 2007, 2008. And then after that, and after the summer, after working at Camp Karate again, the summer of 2008, I ended up living with my dad. That was after the funeral of my uncle, which his nickname is Wolf, because that was one of his characters that he would do, because he would do voices, kind of like I do voices. My uncle would do voices, and so I went back home in 2008, and I was living with my dad for about a month or two, almost 2 months, and then I got my first apartment in Portland, Oregon, and I moved in early in on the 10th day of October. It was on a Friday, and then I was working as a dishwasher for the Kel's Irish restaurant. And I was an after-school assistant for the Daniel Grout Elementary School, and so I was doing that, and I was probably doing a bunch of other things too, and I worked there for a few months, and then I got fired from both of those places, and then I was on my own kind of around February of 2009. I was without work, and I had to pay for my apartment, which was $350 a month, and somehow I was able to survive because I had some savings because of working at camp, and then I would get some money from like unemployment benefits, and then I was trying to find work. And I was started making videos, and I created Oja Wall on YouTube, and doing things like working on my videos off and on, working on the Arnold attic a little bit in the 2000s, and trying to find work and hanging out with a bunch of different people in Portland, Oregon. Moved to Portland, Oregon, PDX. They call it PDX, Portland, Oregon. Keep Portland weird. Moved there the fall of 2008 and had work for a few months, and then I was looking for work after that, trying to find work because I was fired, and hanging out with people and running around doing things and made some videos and off and on, and I was kind of like involved in different groups and then the next big thing that happened was Blake Webb came, and he became the youth pastor at the Moore Street Corps, which is a church with the Salvation Army in Portland. And then I started hanging out with him, and I became the unofficial youth pastor assistant. I was helping him out, and not a lot of people would admit that I was the helper. I was the assistant in a way. I mean, I don't know what people would say if you asked them what my involvement was, but I was, hanging out with Blake and helping him out with his the children's club on Tuesday and the youth group on Friday. And so we were doing that a little bit the fall of 2009 and throughout 2010, and then he died in May. And then I started making a bunch of YouTube channels and Facebook accounts, and I was trying to do a bunch of things, and I was making videos on and off, and I was on iJustine for a second. Not a big deal in a way, but kind of a big deal. I kind of felt like it was a big deal in some ways. I was kind of bittersweet. I was kind of split how I felt about it, because I was kind of like, that's cool. But then part of me was like, I don't like it, because, the actual video comment that appeared on the iJustine show was so retarded. Like, I looked so retarded. I mean, so I was happy that I was on the show, but it was like I was infamous. I was like, I looked so bad, and there was audio delay, and so I wasn't happy about that. And I tried out for the Comcast Wanted Adventure Host show around the end of 2009, and there was just a bunch of different things happening at the same time, things like that, and other things, and so Blake Webb died, and that was sad. And I was hanging out with my friends and his friends, and we had some adventures in May of 2010, and then I went off to work at Camp Redwood Glen in California. That's another Salvation Army camp, and had a bunch of adventures there. And then I was still working with the Salvation Army, helping out a little bit at the Moore Street Corps, and they had a new youth pastor, and I was involved with that. And I was also involved with another church sometimes, the Agape Church of Christ, and I would go there sometimes, since like 2008, 2009, and I decided eventually that I wanted to go back to live with my dad. I decided that was the better choice at that time, and that was early in 2011. And this was like after the last thing I did with the Salvation Army, with the Moore Street Corps, was I was a like a helper, helping out with the they had a basketball camp for children, like a program that was on Friday and Saturdays for for like about a month, and it was a good outreach, and it helped the kids. And we did basketball, and we had like some lessons, and it was just a good thing to be able to try to make a difference in their lives with basketball, and um, with the other stuff that was involved in that. I don't remember exactly what the lessons were, but I was just there to help out, as a like a counselor, and I would just supervise my group of kids as they went through the through everything, and that was good. And after that, I mean, I agreed to helping out, and then after I was done with it, then I felt like I was a free man, and I could decide, am I gonna continue to stay in Portland, or what am I going to do? And I decided I'm gonna go back to Oregon. I mean, not Oregon. I'm already in Oregon. I'm gonna go back to my home city, my hometown, and so I did that. And so I go home. I live with my dad, and I work for him in landscaping like I did before in my life, and started making the Arnold Attic teasers, trailers, which I kind of did a little bit before that too, in 2010, and I came up with the name Arnold Attic in 2010. And there was another guy that was trying to help me, but then that didn't work out, and it was good, and I was able to help him out with a video. We went camping. That was probably in 2010, and so then I go home, living with my dad, and working with him, still making videos and making the teaser trailers, and trying to figure things out. And I also went to the WYI thing, which is like it's kind of like a camp, but for young adults, and it's only for a week. It's like a Bible conference thing with the Salvation Army. It's called Western Youth Institute, or what's it called? I think that's what it's called. WYI. I enjoyed going to that in 2007, 2008, and 2010. And it's for like 10 days early in August each year, and I enjoyed doing that. I started watching The Walking Dead probably November or December 2010, or I mean, I don't know exactly, but either in 2010 or 2011, and I've been watching ever since. So that's a big part of my life, and there's a lot of different shows I started watching and following, Breaking Bad and Dexter, and the list goes on and on. And Star Wars. I'm a big fan of Star Wars and Star Trek, and eventually I ended up going to Vietnam the end of 2012, and then there's a big story with that, a bunch of different stories with my life in Vietnam. And that would be, going there, getting fired, trying to find more work, going to Saigon because I was in the north of Vietnam. So I go to Saigon looking for work. I get work. People helped me. People were helping me. So then I had 2 jobs, 2 schools I was working for. But then they fired me after a few months. But then I had other work at the same time. And so I was working for them at the same time. And I'd work for some people for a few months or longer. And was working with the FYG, and that's a fellowship youth group. They were my favorite, probably, in different groups, on and off. And I could talk about this more in other videos, which I've already talked about in other videos too. But briefly, it's like, doing this, doing that, and running into things and drama, and a bunch of different things, like with the Pagoda and Remy Cafe and Dai Trin, and that was the name of a guy. and a Vietnamese man, and the Circle K, and there's Kathy who's in the dungeon, the Arnold attic, Arnold basement, Arnold dungeon, who didn't steal my bike, but stole my bike, but didn't steal my bike. What in the world? And this person, that person, this thing, that thing, and on and off in different groups. Teaching English to children, adults, different classes. Tutoring, one student, two students, big classes, little classes, different times, going to different places, going to Dalat city, going to this city, going to that city, doing different things at different times each year, extending my visa, getting new visas, going to Cambodia 2 times, and doing different things, making videos, doing different things on and off, and exciting, having different apartments, having the cops going after us, and then I had to go to another place, and then go to another place, and I can't go there because the police are like, no, give us more money, you can't have foreigners there, you got to do this, you got to do that, no, you got to go here, you can't do that, no, you got, and then okay, I got to go here, okay, I got to get a new one, I got to get a new apartment, got to find a new one, and then homeless a little bit in 2014, and the Circle K thing, and then got a new one with old ink, and that was a good apartment, and then it was exciting, and meeting new people, and the Lego student that I had was good, and then the architect student in Imperial and different groups was good, and then not being able to extend my visa, and then being homeless the last 2 years in Vietnam, and all these things happening, and thinking about how I want to live my life, and where do I want to live my life for the rest of my life, and then running into Alex Jones, not in person, but online, and then getting sucked into that world, and I like it, and learning a lot of things about InfoWars and all these other people, and being introduced to a bunch of different things, and then being introduced to Donald Trump, and then I started promoting him early in like April 2016, telling people he's going to be the president, and some people in Vietnam thought I was crazy, and that Hillary Clinton would be the next president, but she wasn't, and so I'm just like running around, and still teaching English, and then I was able to extend my visa somehow, and then I left and went back to America during the Thanksgiving of 2017. Go back to America. I get held by I want to say Homeland Security, but I don't think it was them. But basically, in the immigration department, they're looking through all my stuff in California. I landed in California, and then took another plane to Oregon, and then one of my best friends picked me up. The same guy who took me to the airport in 2012 picked me back up. It's poetry, it rhymes, says George Lucas, and so I'm back, and then I'm thinking about my life, and I go back to see my dad and try to get my videos, just to look at my videos, and then I couldn't get it, and they wouldn't let me, and it was too bad. And then I go to live with my mom and helping out there. Been doing that ever since 2018. I went over to live with my mom and my stepdad, and I think it was good in a lot of ways, and helping out with them, helping them out a little bit. I think we did a lot of things. I could talk about that forever too, in some ways, because we do a lot of different things, building things, and we do gardening, and I just help out, yard work and housework, and this is the typical things. And then on top of that, I'm doing my own thing, and like scanning photos, and working on the Arnold attic. I'm trying to like upload the home videos, and trying to write an autobiography, and I'm writing articles about things, and trying to educate people, and trying to because I want people to know what's going on in the world, like with politics and history and culture and health and all these different topics and things. And I try to be like a internet personality kind of thing. I want to influence people and educate people and entertain people, but like in a some kind of entertaining way kind of thing. But been doing a lot of that, just working on projects here, as the family historian. I work on the projects, working on, scanning things, scanning photos, and drawings and writings, and different things from my life, my family, things like that. I've been organizing things, and it takes a lot of time, takes a lot of work. I collect all the VHS tapes that I can find and try to see what's on them, try to see if I can copy them to DVD and then to a hard drive. It's similar to what I was doing before. A long time ago, I started doing this. The Arnold Attic project was a project where I take the videos, the home videos that we made as kids, and convert the analog video into DVD format, then to hard drives, and then to the internet. It was an ongoing project. I still work on it, but I kind of go back and forth on that project. But there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. There's different ways to do it, but you should probably find the best way to do it so that you don't lose as much of the quality from the original copies of the home videos. So there's a couple different ways to do it, and you have to really think about doing it the best way possible. But I made a bunch of mistakes with that, trying to do that over the years, and I was just trying to get it done as quickly as possible. But I would go back, and some people think I shouldn't be doing this, maybe, but I believe in what I'm doing, and there could be a debate in regards to all of that, what I'm talking about. What should I be doing, kind of thing. But I've been working on that kind of stuff, all those kinds of things. It's a bunch of different things on one. All the stuff that I'm talking about, the stuff that I've been working on since 2018, ever since coming back to America from Vietnam. I've been working on all these things. It's kind of tough to summarize, but I'm doing these things. I'm not saying that I should do these things, but I will say I do these things, and I believe in doing these things strongly, and I will try to continue to work on these things. Anyways, this is just a quick outline of my life in the 2000s, and I would like to go and do more videos where I summarize each decade. And this video was not intended to be entertaining. It was just for me, just to kind of do. I just wanted to see if I could do it, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just uploading this video just because I wanted a record of my life from my point of view, and my point of view may not be correct in some ways, or in all ways, in every way. It may not be totally accurate, but it is what I think is as accurate as I can put it. And this is a brief outline from the top of my head for the record, and I'm going to try to make more videos about this kind of stuff, even if nobody else cares about it. And if you don't care about it, you shouldn't be watching this. Anyways, this is going to be the end for now, and then someday I may make more videos where I go through each decade of my life, and then maybe each year, and then maybe even every single month. I'm probably not going to be able to do every single month, but at least every single year. I would like to just make a quick little, at least maybe one big video, one long video where I'm like, okay, this year I did this year I did that. It would be a lot better if I just read off the notes. I could do that. I could share my screen and read off the notes, and I could, give you a pretty good outline of every year of my life. But not to say that you would wanna see it. I don't care if you want to see it or not. But this is just for me, because I want to document my life and have, I'm working on autobiography and everything else that I'm doing, and I just want to do it. I want to pretend that I'm Ben Stein and have the boringest voice in the world, and the most monotone voice ever. And I might be a little sick right now, a little bit of a cold, but nothing unusual. It ain't no Kivod. Kivod, that's an anagram. Kivod, Civod. Kivod, that's an anagram. Don't take me down. Don't take me off the internet. Don't take me off of YouTube. It's an anagram. I didn't say anything. I just don't want to. I want to like be under the radar because censorship and everything, and losing channels in the 2010s. Oja Wall, Joey Arnold VN, and who knows what else, but mostly those two, and losing videos, thousands of videos off of YouTube because of that, because I lose Oja Wall in 2017, Joey Arnold VN 2018, and it's a terrible thing, it's a scary thing, but it happens to a lot of people. It's a terrible thing, and we shouldn't be content. We shouldn't be like, well, that's normal. That's normal. Those are the big corporations, the YouTube overlords. That's normal. That's normal. It's not normal to be squished upon, for people to jump on top of you and suffocate you. And be like, well, I grew up in this, being suffocated by these overlords. It's a pretty scary thing. Scarier than Jurassic Park.